The program ignores the commotion below. Calmly continued to say, finish your mind. There is also a ban on civil war. In the last 6 months, the death toll from the civil war has been staggering. Some of them are mutants. We don't want this situation to continue. I don't believe it either. You want to live in fear every day. Right. So the civil war must end immediately. Any AI can also complain to the Federation. If they are invaded, I will send you to judgment. The third point causes some forces to waver. Not every mutant in the forces. They all like to fight. Some people want to have a peaceful life. The child can hear these words. He looked at Zhang Yi with consolation. If so, what's the point? Smiling is really naive. Just listen to this one. Don't take it for granted. If this can be easily resolved. From ancient times until now, there hasn't been that much confusion. Human greed is boundless. There are always people who want more power, more material soul invade others. Of course, he just finished the main sentence. Female leader of the city of Daizang. The Red Cross raised his hand. But if there are some weak forces, but they're occupying resource-rich land, you have to deal with SAO. This is not a waste. When she said these words, eyes glancing towards the epidemic, they're not alone. That a lot of people, all unconsciously turned their eyes towards Chen, still Quan. The light is red all over my face. But there's no other way. Today, he's famous all over Jiangnan. It's a very radical kind of facial loss. Chu frowned and said, the redistribution of resources will be coordinated. More resources within the VI power of each unit. It's enough for you to survive. That? Now, the rumors are echoing. Our area is exactly livable. It is not enough for a war. The South China Sea is too big and everything has to be managed. Is this a bit unethical or not? Number of survivors in the Jiangnan area. Currently not up to 5%. There can't be a shortage of supplies. And the supplies that the spy tried to talk about, it's not a survival kit, of course. It's strategic supplies. Like mechanical factories, like weapons, cars, people. To expand their power, become more powerful, then these are all indispensable. Not AI, they just want to survive the end of the world. Not a few people are ambitious. I want to get through this chaotic time, to spend a Jiang Shan to confess the king. Try pink spy pout. On his face, he laughed. Clearly, I didn't take Zhou's words seriously. The mutants at the scene were showing contempt. Feel the demand of the Jiangnan area. Excessive hegemony. It's ridiculous. In the crowd, there was a man standing up in a white cloth. He stared at the chief. The dark face said, the idea of Jiangnam, they want to put us all on the line. Then whatever you want, you'll protect it. If you do something, we must also listen to your arrangements. Is not to be a SAO fly puppet. Immediately below came a rain of approval. That's right, based on what? That's right. Why should we listen to his arrangements? Lao Tzu did not accept the unification. But Zhu's face has not changed. It's just sudden. Everyone heard a small wind, echoing in the ear. Then Kier's mutant's head flew high from his neck. He shot up the faces of the people next to him. His body is still standing there. like his head rolling down on the table in front of him. Zhang's eyes stopped. He caught everything that just happened. He, or mutant, is at least 30 meters away from the main Chu stage. But at that moment, the guard behind Chu suddenly took action. He shot out of the right sleeve. A very strong steel fiber cut off Kier's mutant head in the air. It's just that his strike speed is too fast, so no one on the scene could react. A steel fiber glistening in the air back to thin. If you don't look closely, you can't see it at all. It's just that there's a little blood on it. So people pay attention. This is how powerful a deterrent is. That guard soldier, if you can kill the white mutant Kier, in the blink of an eye, of course, there is. They killed most of the mutants at the scene. In the blink of an eye, Zhang's eyes became deeper. The guard next to the main Zhou. There is a terrorist force. Maybe even stronger than the military. Outside some areas, like a snowstorm and a city of the sea. Other places, in 13 cities of Jiangnan area, never communicated with the center of Jiangnan. They don't understand that either. Their power, compared to the leading power of the blizzard, it's far less. It's just being in your territory. Self-promotion gave them confidence. Should make a mistake. They even think that, I have the right to talk to the chief. But in terms of the power that they're wielding, it's no different from an entire area. Carpet. My husband recovered his steel. Then slowly adjust your black goatskin gloves. Then put your hands behind you, smiling and looking at the whole hall. The whole hall was silent again. Who just spoke up? A lot of people know. Is the leader of a force in the city from across the... They say his power is strong. Is a Delta mutant. On a par with Red Pepper and falls high. But even a mutant like that. He was beheaded with just one trick. An astonishing mutant muttered to him. He really did it. A Delta rank mutant, just like that no longer. This is just a guard. The whole area of power is really terrifying. So quiet. No one dares to make a sound. They're all afraid of death. A blow of the Holy Spirit has shattered the illusions of quite a few people. The translation is also evaluated. The guards next to Chu are indeed terrorists. They may even be on the border. Large doors of the hall at the back and sides. It is also expanded. Buck Lai Long led by a member of the Black Panther team. With so many guards, he shouted. Don't mess up. The atmosphere at the scene became critical. Even the magic wrenches its hands. The cold eyes. Mouth with a smile sarcastically said, try to move. This strong feeling of oppression, it makes everyone here panic. Somewhat. Zhu Kai, Ni and 6 revelation fear. I'm scared of Trong Yi. He immediately said, don't be afraid to be here. In Zhang's eyes there flashed a ray of light. He didn't think the blizzard would strike. Carry out the Great Purge, but he still has to be ready to escape. Chu's voice cracked. Don't get me wrong. He stared at the crowd in the hall. I'm not negotiating with you. I will only inform you. Any member who refuses to join the Union. All superpowers are considered to oppose the alliance and protested against the whole of Jiangnan. And such forces or individuals, it doesn't have to exist on this land anymore. To spread a smile. He soon realized this. But he didn't realize there were so many idiots. Dare to reason with a giant like the Jiangnan area. Some people even dare to speak out publicly. to oppose the status quo. Maybe their brains were frozen by temperatures of more than 60 degrees below zero. Everything is in Zhang Yi's plan. He had previously spoken to the school board to know the considerations of the great dark tooth. This action is also quite reasonable. If the body is in the position of the head, he would use the same strategy. If not, let's leave the chaos and fight like that. Sooner or later, the whole Jiangnam area will also be divided by 7 years. At that time, if there is an outside intruder, Sao can withstand it. And Zhang Yi himself has an opinion, but not much. Being controlled by others is also very annoying, but people are stronger than us. I don't mind showing them a little respect. If the enemy asks him to die, then the translation will be done. And if we're not there yet, Zhang Yi does not want to completely turned against the Jiangnan area. Zhu himself finished speaking. Look at the people again. Through the previous threat, no one dared to speak out. The program continues to ask. We just said AIs for AIs against. Everyone looks at each other. I understood, and no one spoke. Chu said coldly, if you don't, I assume you all agree. Then sign my name on this application. As I said, Zhou himself gave a sign to his secretary, is Lan Tanthan. Look at the security outside. There are 2 teams. Take a ready-made application from the 2 entrances. Give to each leader of the forces. Just sign this application form. That is, from now on, officially become an organizational force under the authority of Jiangnam. Will be subject to the maneuvers of the Jiangnan area. The translator also received a copy. He quickly passed by once. I see nothing different from what the main guy said. There are no more conditions. He was also comfortable signing his name. To be honest, if one day Zhu himself made him die, until then, this form can't tie him down. You have to know how to improvise. You don't have to be a bird leader. Others have a leisurely god. There are eyeliners who show no commitment, but also for fear of the Jiangnan area, should sign this application in turn. Seen Inte Lan Tan holding a thick stack of paperwork. Chu himself nodded with satisfaction. He smiled softly. Tell people to rest assured. You won't worry about it for free. Every month, you can all get some supplies, which includes the special equipment of the. Even more, if you complete the task assigned by the general department, there is also a separate bonus. He put his hand in the pocket of his shirt. He pulled out a small glass jar between his fingers. Everyone's eyes, it's all in that little glass jar. They're curious about what it is. Zhu Zhen lowered his voice, and this is called compound number 2. Its effect, it's about helping people unleash their superpowers, deepening the potential. Simply put, after using this, it's going to make your superpowers become stronger. This is also in the category of task rewards. I've heard about the effects of compound number 2. The crowd's eyes became hot. There's no need to rely on fighting after all. It can still increase capacity. As soon as I received this award, I signed it. Bao Sao Jiangnam area, there are so many skilled masters. Turns out, there's an aid. Maybe we can have it too. Just complete the task, assigned by Jiangnam. It's also NDTO. They use ROI and sugar. Has caused discontent in people's hearts. Disappear somewhat. At least look now. I also see that follow the Jiangnam area is still beneficial. As of this moment, capacity strengthening method, the only power they found. Only eating other mutants. But it's also very difficult to do this. One is they need to kill mutants. Take the original of that person. This is already a relatively difficult task. The number of mutants is too small. And now Zhu himself is telling them that there's drugs that can help them improve their performance. Of course, they want to get it from there. In the end, power is everything. Zhang Yi just saw that and frowned slightly. He also knows a little bit about Kier compounds. I listened to the police officer accidentally speak. Base, the whole Jiangnam area became so powerful. There are so many high-level mutants. It has something to do with the kind of compounds they're studying. But armed soldiers seems to be the one using the compound. Even the mutant side effects on him. It's also the compound. Although maybe in a short time, gain powerful power, but you're taking a huge risk. The company does not want to exchange something that's so risky. But it's very clear that other people are very attracted to it. Most of the time, people are thinking more about meat in there. Then Chu himself spoke up. You're just in time. Now, there's a chance for you. Just before everyone arrived, it's in Linhai City. There's a group of people from the Red China. The total number of members of this organization is 13. The city of Linhai is now occupied by them. If AI can go and destroy all these romantics, you'll be rewarded with 10 parts of compound number 2. They also have the power to control the entire city. The bottom immediately boomed. Because the romantic suspects Pink, these 4 words are really shocking. No matter how they fought before, even to the point of death, it's also an internal affair. But now the outside enemy is in. Then their hatred is immediately diverted. A loud man cursing. The Pink people dare to step on our national territory. They find their own way to die. Do they think the world has come? Then they have the right to be extravagant, or SAO. Kill all those fucking Romanians. Not one drop. The discharge also slightly squinted. They're really reckless old people. They fled to the United States and occupied a city. Then there's no doubt. The indigenous forces have been wiped out by them. No one can stand this. The king gritted his teeth, can in his mouth swearing open this shit. Kill them. Everyone in the room seemed angry. There are also some people, after listening to Chu himself say raw reward conditions, it's very heartwarming. 10-part compound number 2. It's possible to use the power of 10 mutants, increased significantly. It can make an organization much stronger. But the most fascinating thing is still the ruling power of Linhai City. Local power in Linhai City. They were destroyed by the Romans. It means that the AI accomplishes this task and could become the absolute king of the city of Linhai. More than his identity and power. Also recognized and protected by the Jiangnam area. Many people have this idea in their hearts. But there are also people considering the risk of this mission is great. To what extent? Because the Kier Romantics organization is able to destroy all the superpowers in the whole city of Linhai. Zhu himself collected all expressions on the faces of those below. To the bottom of the eye, he knows that there's a human part still waiting for the details. Zhu himself did not circle the 3 kingdoms anymore. He directly said raw information about the Kier hooligans. This group comes from the north. It's a notorious local extremist organization. It's called Kai Nuyet Real Ginseng. It's been in the east for a long time. And then the intention to occupy the mainland of the United States. So they came across the sea. I exchanged with people. There are high-level forces in Yihong. The purpose of this group's action, it has nothing to do with senior officials on the suspicious side. This is just a private act. So you can go hunting with peace of mind. Of course, they're not the right ones. You also need to be mentally prepared. But we won in the crowd. As long as you agree, AI can also perform this task. All we want to see is the heads of 13 people. They... In the audience, there's a mutant slowly raising his hand. The police chief and Zhang Yi looked at him. It's a middle-aged man. Zhang Yi had paid attention to him before. On the subway GA yard, this man exudes a military temperament. Maybe a former soldier who won 5. And now, he is also the leader of a power. The veteran opened the question. Senior officials rose. They said they weren't sent by them. This statement can't be completely trusted. If we go on a mission, if you are beaten by the enemy, you have to do something. Not a few people nod their heads. I agree with the veteran's words. People who suspect that the sun is early in the afternoon rain. I can't help but admit that. There's a lot of them who are two-faced eels. Can you believe their words? Unfortunately, we're just going to do the job. Then I discovered that these people, it's just part of the vanguard of the Rose. And then they have more help. At that time, we're definitely going to be in a dangerous situation. The corner of Chu's mouth cracked slightly. The gods carry a little contempt. It doesn't matter. The important thing is they're senior officials. I don't recognize that these people are related to them. So we can go out and round up this group of hooligans. The suspicious person did not dare to speak up. Otherwise, Zhu laughed coldly for an hour. If it proves that this group of people related to high-ranking officials, then everything will be easier to solve. They act first. Of course, we can use any means to counterattack. The words of Zhu, it almost brought it to light. Just find out that this group of people, it is related to high-ranking officials. It means that they've officially launched an invasion strategy. The world will truly be at peace. Even the allies couldn't say anything. These words, it's the confidence of the mutants who are here to multiply. Based on the strong military strength of the Jiangnan area, do support. They don't have to worry at all. Just target the ruffians who listen to Kier Pink. We're done launching a large-scale raid. The veteran quietly nodded. I agree with the words of Zhu. The reason for SAO, the entire force of 12 cities must be mobilized. In Jiangnan, it's also very simple. This is a raid. They want to encircle the encroachment and kill them without leaving a single one behind. They will not be foolish to stay in place, waiting for us to fight. They will surely try to escape. And this sweep action, of course, you'll need 10 more troops. Several times, the king could not help but tell Zhang Yi. Zhang Yi, we can also participate in this raid. He's a former soldier. King Daixu, it's still pretty close to the field. Anti-Chin with one arm. Tilt your head looking down. Chu is standing on the platform, and the crowd was indifferent to it. Then he sank into thought. Those scoundrels are angry. But before doing anything, he won't act on emotion either. It's going to take into account the benefits of that. We have to destroy those ruffians. But at SAO, Chu is not the investigation team. Under your own sway. Even though the current black team has been, there are 7 armed soldiers, but the angel team is intact. Not to mention that they have 5,000 yen of protection. Maybe there's only one explanation. Zhu himself did not want to leave Team 5 in his hands. I have to take risks. That's why he wants to take away the power of the suburbs. Do this task first. If successful, of course, it is best. And if it doesn't succeed, it can also be explored somewhat. Strength of the enemy. Then, new to the elite troops of the Blizzard into action. Maybe in the future, if you have a similar situation. He will also use the forces of the outer city first. There are soldiers in his hands. Will be retained. Unless you have to do special tasks. Then he used it. The status of the Jiangnan area, it's thanks to the armed forces that Ra. So, the government must also consider these factors. People are always selfish. After thinking clearly, calmly speaking to the end view. Let's look at the situation first and talk. We can't act thoughtlessly. I'll contact the Chief Justice. Ask about the information. Whether next to it. Zhang Yi's personality has a clear plan. New action. That way, he can always be safe. On the podium, Zhou raised his hand and said, all the organizations involved in this campaign. You can go to the station to pick up your weapons, equipment, and all supplies. Cosmetic translation promotion. This is also a way to determine, finally, how many forces are involved in this campaign. If the number of forces involved is not enough, maybe they'll just have to hand over the task. Where there are people standing. He said that he would lead people to the city of Linhai, to surround those ruffians. There are 5 forces that appear. Cosmetic surgery was like that. I won't open my teeth right now. Whether these forces are out in the national interest, or just because of the incentives that Chu himself promised, then sure, there's going to be a lot of forces involved in the mission. The book doesn't always want to stand out, even when the benefits are great. Then let this group of people go first. If only they could destroy the hoodlums. That's great. If they lose 7, you can also collect 10 to get more information. When he goes out, he's sure to win. The meeting is closed. In the countless applause, the brittle hands. Forces willing to join the siege. Song Real, Kai, they all registered in turn. Pick up supplies. And Trong Yi, he leads people out of the hall. Zhu himself clapped his hands and told everyone. It's hard for everyone. That's how this conference ended. People are free to operate in a snowstorm. If there is another need, we'll get back to you. Via disbanded communication equipment. End word. Zhou and his subordinates left the hall. Watching mutants show their enthusiasm. Zhang's eyes flashed. Only 13 names. That destroyed the entire force of the city. The ocean after all. An army called the Kai Nuyat Kier invasion. How powerful the real power is. They may not be inferior. The Blizzard investigation team. If that's really the case, the people who go to arrest, I don't know how many people are going to die. At the combat center, the marshal's office. Chu is sitting on the sofa. See the report that Lan Tan Than has submitted. There are a total of 10 forces. Register to participate in Kai Nuyat invasion in Linhai City. It's already crowded. It's a very powerful force. Chu himself nodded. Although there are many small and large forces to the Blizzard to attend, but a lot of power could not participate in the raid for many different reasons, such as Linhai City is too far away from their city, or they have other concerns. Only thing is, Zhu himself did not see the signature of any leader. What power of the Tianhai City? In particular, I can't see Zhang's signature. This made him frown. Tianhai City is very close to Linhai City. The power of the wind is strong enough. But he's afraid to avoid war. This makes us feel 7. The more he felt that the Chief Justice was right. This movement is too heavy to control. Chu thought of, I have read your review of the translation program. Can't help but sigh. This guy puts his own interests first. It is not appropriate to, into our city's blizzard. The secretary next to him was Lan Tan Than. Smiling said Tianhai City. After the last wave of zombies. It's almost abandoned now. It's not just people who are sparsely alive. But the big powers are also severely damaged. With their power now, it's basically impossible to handle. Stability of the region. Now Trong Yi shows that people are disgruntled. At SAO, it's not about fostering a new group of forces. Chu heard that. His eyebrows moved slightly. There was a little movement in my heart. The Tianhai city is so vast. It used to be a megacity with 20 million people. The city's resources are also abundant. But now the population is sparse. Forces outside of Zhang's team. They are not able to manage. It's better to bring power from other cities. One is to stabilize the order of the Tianhai city area. The second is to create a new power to control the epidemic. Don't give him a hand to cover the sky in Tianhai city. White is still there, because of Zhang Yi's solitary behavior. The main Chu does not like. Chu put his hand on the table and knocked slowly. This can go into the plan. Just one time. To take part in this mission in Linhai City. There are 10 forces. It's time to complete the mission. A part of Linhai City is not enough to divide Ra. Then bring the forces into the Tianhai City. That's it. You two just spoke softly, just divided the city of Tianhai. It's like sharing a cake. In fact, with Trong, this is not good. Even though his team is small. It only takes 2 parts. Jiang Highway District and Taesun District are. Whether you mess up has nothing to do with it. It is also in the interests of the other 3. But if someone were to pull food out of his mouth, yeah. If you want to show respect for the Jiangnam area, you can go. But after that, can you go? Right now. Someone outside is knocking on the door. Lan Tan Than instant big AI vertical. Boss. Captain Deng's magic of the Angel Squad. Please meet. He raised his hand and said, let him in. Lan Tan Than smiled and said, Deng magic must come, please fight. Zhu himself understood what he said. Angel Squad led by the magic. It's the most famous team in Blizzard City. That the young prodigy may be strong and aggressive. He's always the most eager to do the job. Desire to make great achievements to build illustrious reputation. Now it's on the sky charts, the integral table of the Blizzard into. For more than 2 months, he's been at the top. So a lot of people in the city Blizzard think he's the #1 master in the Jiangnan area. In addition, the honorable background and appearance of Tuan, one time used to be supported by the majority of Tianhai city residents. Many people think that. One day, Zhou himself retreated to Line 2. Goddess will be the successor, the position of general manager. To face this young genius. Chu is also very important. That the magic went through the layers of doors. Enter the main office. As soon as he walked in, he asked Chu himself, why don't we go out this time? To perform the task. However, this time a lot of teams were sent out. But it's very clear. The opponent is not a normal dysfunctional organism. If they really want to escape, only by forces outside the city. The version can't be caught. Let the gods show contempt. The suburban forces, even if they are not professional. There is a struggle between them. It's harder to work together. But Chu laughed. He leaned back on the sofa. I ask you to understand the real world. The wise man opened his mouth and sputtered no words. The romantics are from the Red Country. They've never been in contact. We can't get 10 intelligence. Chu took a deep breath and said, the Red Cross is now divided into 2 camps, the East and West. One is the division of the East. One is the West. And the lunar eclipse. That's the group of romantic people in the East. Even the fecal exporting organization in hand, most of the official power of the East, hands in front of them. So you can see, the power of this group is strong. Even, it's comparable to your investigation team. He stared at the magic. There is no authentic intelligence. I can't let you go out. Risk it. There are 6 investigation teams. It's the backbone of the blizzard. But Deng the psychic frowned. A small pink country is just a small country. Dysfunctional organization. It's raging in that place. What level can there be? He shook his head to see that the magic was a little impotent. Don't underestimate your opponent. Despise them. It's no different than underestimating yourself. Even though it was a time of war protecting the country that year, the death rate between us and the Red China, it's also 5-1, even 9-1. We can belittle the enemy strategically. We must respect the enemy tactically. 1,000 times not subjective. Let the magic calm down. He pondered for a moment. Although the territory of the Red China is not large, but there's also a province with over 100 million people. Look at this scale. There's a lot of powerful power in it. It's no wonder. Even the wise Deng was joking. The Chinese suspect is already perverted. Now it's different and more harmful. It's also normal. He understood the purpose of the Lord. So what you mean is, let the forces outside the city go to Linhai City first. In fact, let them collect 10 pieces of lunar intelligence. That's right. That's the purpose. Of course, if they can smoothly eradicate this dysfunctional group, the best. But even if they lose 7, at least it can be used. Part of the force of the moon. Until then in your book of account, they also have 1/3 of their labor. And the ability to not go, the 2 words are optional. Let the gods understand the thoughts of Zhu himself. Calm down again. It's just that we see the power of those people. I'm afraid it's very difficult to do. I don't understand why, in Deng's mind, the shadow of Zhang Yi appeared again. Of the forces outside that city, not many people caught his eye. Zhang Yi is the most prominent, because he defeated the enemy. God's power cannot be questioned. What about Zhang Yi of Tianhai City? To hear the divine ask Trong Yi, Chu Main and Lan Tan Than, all 6 are a bit of a surprise. The captain of the angel squad, arrogance is nothing compared to this. I rarely hear people's names from his mouth. Zhu is a little unhappy with that guy. He didn't even sign up for this campaign. It's cunning. Magic bullet eyes flashed and laughed again. I'd rather say he's smart. At least he knows. This task is not that simple. Zhu clearly doesn't like this way of saying. He crossed his arms in front of his chest. If anyone is like him, you only know how to be self-centered. Then the superpower alliance can't operate anymore. Chu is a soldier. Soldiers who worship unconditional obedience, taking the will of the superior as the sole principle of action. But magic is neither Trong Yi nor. So that, the magic. Not only did he not feel the rebellious chapter, on the contrary, I appreciate his intelligence. Let this magic use you. You just have to be capable. Everything else can be tolerated. To be a great leader, Excellent leader. Good at promoting the strengths of subordinates. Make your subordinates more effective because of you. Let the magic keep us going. And the magic in my heart is constantly thinking. We must quickly pull him in. It's our angel squad. If not, it's too bad. After talking to Zhu, let the magic leave. Get out of the marshal's office. Towards the translation, he led everyone out of the auditorium. Even though the conference is over, a lot of people stay. Actively discuss the situation of Linhai City. People Don T have to go talk to them. Ask the council. The manager can get 10 more intelligence. Talk to everyone in your group. If you want to register, I won't stop you. At this very moment in their ears came a mocking sound. Tianhai City is located next to Linhai City. Now foreign militaries invade. And you're running away cowardly. It's embarrassing. Because people say he's the leader of the city. Dai Zak City. Respect Min. He looked slightly at them. He saw the three great powers of the city, Dai Zak City, gathered together. Also go out. The number of mutants of these three forces is far greater. Compared to Tianhai City, that's 3 times more than the city of Tianhai. Their energy has overwhelmed their opponents. It's the tone of the faces of the people here. Everything changes. Especially Tran's still face went blue and red. Anger and shame filled his eyes. Red wine and others. It's all a little stressful. The difference in quantity is too large. If they really fight, they will. Instinctively look towards the movement of the body. Ask Small. What do you want to do, she thought. If the epidemic broke out, they still have a chance to win. Not necessarily can win. Because Zhang Yi has never participated in battles. That can't be won. Think about this. In my heart, I feel much more confident. I only saw Zhang Yi's handsome face. The more you look, the more you're fascinated. Back to the Tianhai City. She'll definitely have to get closer to the epidemic. The future of the Jiangnan area will definitely change. She also needs to find a protective umbrella for the flourishing base. The leaders of a big city power. Dai Zak City go this way. They keep a certain distance from each other. Can see. The relationship between them is not very good. It's just time to put pressure on the city of Tianhai. Their goal is to be consistent. Smiling casually. The red cross before me. He said not to cause trouble. You forgot again. End words. He turned to the people of the city. Commander Zhou didn't say that. All this, it all depends on people's wishes. How do we do it? It doesn't seem like you need to worry. Adam and the two looked at each other. The contempt in his eyes grew stronger. Even the mutants next to them were laughing. You can say words like this. That's funny. The country is in danger. They hide like a spoiled turtle. Like that, but also qualified to represent the city of Tianhai. Come here. I say this, the power of the current Tianhai city. It's been scrapped. Look at the leader of Kier's $1 million base. It's a little bit. Inability to hold a good area. Like the city of Tianhai, you should give it up soon. The mutants of the city. Dai Z City carefree, mocking the mutants of the Tianhai city. This word make the faces of the mutants of the Tianhai city become very unsightly. Even the average salary. I can't help but frown. Instinctively look towards the translation. As long as Trong Yip speaks, they won't hesitate to rush. Give these guys a game. The atmosphere on both sides is tense.